it began to occur to me that the strength of God, or the greatness of God, is mostly seen in the midst of our inadequacies. When it looks as if nothing could come out, nothing good will come out, it's not just possible. It's like when we say growing greater and greater. If I say going greater and greater, you say growing greater and greater. Growing greater and greater. Beautiful. I just want to be sure you are still listening. In the midst of such seasons when it looks as if, can really anything great come out of me? They say that Nigeria is having high inflation, recession. It was in his obedience that the Bible said Isaac became great and was strong until he became very great. How many examples of famine have I called now? Number 1, I said Abraham, right? Number 2, I said Isaac. Number 3, Joseph. Genesis 41, when there was 7 years of famine. Number 4, in the book of Ruth, there was a famine. Ruth chapter 1, verse 1. Ruth and, Naomi and her husband, Elimelech, were in a deep condition of famine and were trusting God to rise greater and greater, but nothing was happening. And then Elimelech smelled the bread of Moab. Tell your neighbor, don't smell the bread of Moab when you stay in Bethlehem. Elimelech and Naomi were living in Bethlehem. Living in where? Bethlehem simply means house of bread. Bethlehem means what? But when famine came, they forgot their identity. They forgot their place in God. And they heard that there is bread in Moab. And they carried themselves and moved. When they got to Moab, the Bible said Elimelech died. Elimelech's 2 children who were married died. And Naomi was alone with the daughter-in-law. And Naomi changed her name from pleasant to bitterness. Say with me, in the name of Jesus, may I not make a move that removes me from the plan of God. May I not smell the bread of Moab and lose my identity. For the sake of time, as I round up, one great way God brings people to rise greater and greater in the midst of scarcity is by divine instructions. Say with me, say divine instructions. Again, say divine instructions. Abraham went to Egypt. Isaac wanted to go. Naomi and Elimelech went to Moab, but they did not come back the same. Do you know even Jesus? Can you imagine that Joseph, the carpenter, the father of Jesus, do you remember that God had to appear to him and tell him, take the child and flee to Egypt because they seek the child's life? There are times God will say no, and there are times God will say yes. If we are going to rise greater and greater, we must be able to discern the instructions of God. It is divine instructions that terminate untold frustrations. Can you say that with me? It is divine instructions that terminates untold frustrations. If we can hear God in the midst of any season, we are sure to come out and rise greater. I'm out of time, but I'm not out of words. There's just one prayer in my heart, and that prayer is that we will be able to know, hear, and obey. Imagine if Elimelech did not leave Bethlehem. Perhaps the family will be complete. What if Joseph, the carpenter, decided not to leave Israel and go to Egypt? Perhaps Jesus would have been terminated at a childhood age. But who even knows? Who knows? If, remember that lady, the harlot, that's Rahab. If Rahab had not obeyed God to hide the spies, maybe herself and her family would have been wasted. Just one prayer point. Father, in the name of Jesus, help me to see and know, to hear and obey, that I will not make a move that removes me from your plan. Plant in my heart deep commitment and obedience. Deliver me from errors of decisions. Errors of life. Can you lift your voice and pray for just 1 minute? I do not intend to talk for much because the slot is exactly for 10 minutes and I'm grateful for the opportunity. Can you lift your voice with me to pray? Say, Father, grant me accuracy by your spirit. Accuracy by your spirit. Accuracy by your spirit. In the name of Jesus. Look at me. You don't understand the prayer. There are errors you can make that can wipe out a full family. True of us. God says he wants to raise us to grow greater and greater. If we decide to go our way, we may jam everything. Say with me, say, Father, in the name of Jesus, deliver me from errors and terrors by the spirit of accuracy. Lift your voice and pray. Lift your voice and pray. Lift your voice and pray. Lift your voice and pray.